Shabbat Shalom. I'm Rabbi Robert Barr. I'm with
Rabbi Ofer Sabbath Ben Talachmi.
and it's great to have you again over sharing Shabbat with us. It was so nice having you the last time. We had a great conversation. In fact, we've been having a great conversation before you all arrived. We've been sitting and chatting.
Welcome to joining us.
Yeah, that's right. You're going to jump into the conversation in a couple of minutes. We're going to read. We're going to light the candles, and then we're going to get our conversation. So we'll pause and we reflect. 6 days we speak, tonight we listen. 6 days we build, tonight we rest. 6 days we take care of others, tonight we nurture ourselves. 6 days we work to change our world, tonight we are renewed by what is internal. 6 days we plan for the future, tonight we are enveloped in the present. 6 days we eat and drink in haste, tonight we savor the taste of bread and wine and feel the bond of the world that feeds us. 6 days we teach, tonight we learn. 6 days we hear the clamor. Tonight we listen for clarity. 6 days we struggle to expand our influence. Tonight we're dissolved in a greater influence. 6 days we focus our vision on the task at hand. Tonight we look beyond what we can see. May each of us find our Sabbath peace. Shabbat Shalom. So those of you who joined us before know that ourjewishcommunity.org, we're based here in Loveland, Ohio, right outside of Cincinnati, Ohio. We're associated with, we spawned factually by Congregation Beth Adam, where I'm the founding rabbi. I've been the rabbi for 36 years. And we came up, the congregation, with the idea of how we could share what we were doing, the bold, innovative Judaism, with others around the world. Other people had been, so we wrote before the internet, we were writing letters, I was speaking and traveling. And then with the internet, it allowed us to create a community that was much larger and actually more interactive than we've ever had before. So with technology, we've continued to grow. It's allowed us to create community. I read the chats after services are over. I was watching them last week, Thanksgiving, and it's great that so many people are engaged. Some of you get to do this in real time. It's 6 o'clock. You're watching right now. Perhaps you're chatting. Sam's watching. Other times you're chatting afterwards. There are people who've actually commented that it's so nice to be part of this ongoing conversation. So the technology allows us to do that. But most importantly is the voice of Judaism, because that's really what this is about, is how we talk about Judaism. What does it mean? What does it mean as an Israeli, as an American? We're going to talk about that in Hanukkah. It's going to be very interesting. What does it mean as 21st century Jews? People who understand that we're in a totally different relationship with our understanding of the past, our ancestors. While they were smart, well-meaning people, their amount of knowledge they had about the universe they lived in when they were creating the early texts was incredibly limited. We don't need to be bound by their limits. We should expand upon what they did with our new insights. And that's what this experience is all about. So I'm glad you're here. Whether in real time or watching in archives, you can always write me at rabbi@ourjewishcommunity.org so we can continue the conversation, and you can always chat, leaving messages to one another as we grow this. So we're going to light our Hanukkah candles. On Shabbat, we light the candles, bring forth warmth. Yes?
Shabbat candles. Not Hanukkah candles.
Did I say Hanukkah?
Yes.
Oh, hey, thank you.
Are you intending to talk about Hanukkah?
I think so. I guess
Okay.
I got Hanukkah on my mind. Do you have your Hanukkah candles? We haven't bought. Oh, actually, there were some home. I saw some at home sitting on the counter. Somebody bought them.
It's good to be prepared beforehand.
So on Shabbat, we light the candles, bring forth. Okay, we're going to do the. How do you light the candles?
The Beit Adam style.
Okay. On Shabbat, we light the candles, bring forth light, illuminating the darkness. Candles offer us warmth, bringing comfort. Candles awaken us as we reach for possibilities. As we light these candles, let us use their light to stretch beyond ourselves, touching others, bettering our world.
Baruch haor ba'olam.
Blessed is the light within the world.
Baruch haor ba'adam.
Blessed is the light within each person.
Baruch haor b'Shabbat.
Blessed is the light of the Sabbath. You did that so well.
I practiced last time.
Did you?
Yes. You know, it's so interesting that light and candles are so unique because you're lighting one candle and that's it. Mm-hmm. You can burn the whole world or just to use it for good reasons,
right?
Or better reasons. But if you gather many candles together, mm-hmm. it's the same flame,
right?
Just a little bigger,
right? And if you look
you can't add or take from this light.
Mm-hmm. Right? Candles, they really are fascinating. I think the power of flame is really amazing. And you can imagine the ancients when they didn't understand what they were looking at. When they first saw fires, and certainly as the sun was getting, as the days were getting shorter, the power of light becomes ever more powerful. So our conversation, that's our segue to our conversation. We talk about Hanukkah. Hanukkah starts December 6th this year. It moves around the calendar because we Jews have a solar lunar calendar. It's based upon the lunar calendar, but it's affixed to the seasonal calendar. So Hanukkah always falls in winter.
Always when it's dark outside.
Always when it's dark. And so we want to talk about this holiday, and I asked Ofer to talk about how the contrast between how Israelis and American Jews, we're going to talk about how we experience this holiday, because I think it begins to inform how Israelis and American Jews may see some of the same things, but experience things very differently. And I think that that's interesting. For some of us, we don't know a lot about the liberal or secular Jewish world of Israel. We see the Orthodox Jews, but we don't understand that there's a whole other culture that's very strong, in fact, much larger.
That's true. I must say that Hanukkah is a very important holiday for me. Mm-hmm. So it was always a big celebration because it's my birthday.
Oh, right.
But otherwise,
your Hebrew, your birthday.
It's my Jewish birthday.
Jewish birthday, because yeah. So that's
so
also confusing. So you have two calendars in your birthday.
Well, I used to have only one calendar. It's to celebrate December 23rd is not so big a deal, but to celebrate it during Hanukkah with candle lighting, so it gives some more light to my birthday. But let's not talk about my birthday because all the rest of the world in Israel, it's not such a big deal. It's actually a holiday that is celebrated mostly in the kindergarten.
So Hanukkah's a kindergarten. That's going crazy. Mm-hmm.
All the songs are young kids' songs. There is no adult songs.
Right. Savivon, so.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a kid.
You sing very well. The food is very basic.
So what kind of food? So in America, we're sort of Eastern European latkes, potato pancakes.
Potato pancakes.
Yeah.
Which is actually a food for the of poverty.
Right. Yeah. And sufganiyot, donuts.
And sufganiyot,
which are donuts, jelly
donuts without the hole in the middle.
Yeah, they're not really. We would call them. They're like they're jelly-filled donuts. So they're right. That's what we call them here.
It's a sponged, oily thing.
Yeah.
That people try to eat less and less. But other than that, it's not such a big deal. A family gathers or not to light few candles, which is usually very thin, and say two blessings, and that's it.
So no gift giving?
Not gift giving, no presents, no counting the days. Pretty sad when we compare it to what's
because now
going
you're
on
living
here.
I mean, here you're.
Yes, Hanukkah here is so beautiful, so much light in the streets. You're doing great things for Hanukkah here.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's partially because of Christmas too, right? Some of the lights are.
There is something like Christmas around here too. Yes, but in Israel, it's dark outside. It's not as cold as here. In the United States, everywhere. But Hanukkah had also few spiritual or theological challenges to the Israeli secular pioneers that came to build the state. Because Hanukkah, according to the tradition, is about a miracle. And we want to make this miracle bigger or publicize it with the candlelight. But this miracle is about God doing miracles and about the Temple Mount or the temple, the temple in Jerusalem that was rededicated. Problem, We don't like the idea of the religious temple rebuilt in Israel.
Right.
We are not there anymore. I'm talking as a
Secular.
I'm talking in the name of my grandfather, Gershon Beit Halachmi. So Gershon came to Israel to dry the swamps and to build, to erect a new temple, which will be built in Netanya and in Hedera and in Tel Aviv, but not on Temple Mount in Jerusalem.
So just to make sure everyone gets this Temple Mount thing, I want to make sure in case you're having questions. So the Temple Mount, if you see a picture of Jerusalem today, where the gold dome is, the mosque, there's a gold dome. That is and the western wall below is where Orthodox Jews will go to pray, and non-Orthodox Jews will go there as well. But Orthodox Jews typically go there, and on top is where the Dome of the Rock is, and there's the Al-Aqsa Mosque. That is where tradition says, and archaeology says, there had been the temples, the first and second temples, where the priests would sacrifice animals. That was the form, right? That was Judaism.
Of course.
Right. There are some Jews who would like to rebuild it. But that's another night for night.
And they don't celebrate Hanukkah more than lighting candles and saying the blessings.
Right, they don't do anything.
So it's not a big deal about that too.
Right. But so the sense of building Israel was about building. It wasn't about returning to Jewish tradition.
Exactly.
It was about taking ownership of one's future. So the temple was people, not a place.
The temple are people, and the miracle. Who is creating miracle?
Right.
So the answer for that was actually two other values that were put or glued into that not such a big deal holiday.
Right.
One is the idea that we have the ability, we as human beings have the ability to create miracles. If we just listen and use the flame that is in our hearts, exactly as you just mentioned in your blessing over these candles.
Right.
So I brought a poem, a song, which it is a song, but it was written as a poem by a poet called Ze'ev. Ze'ev was a Polish Israeli Zionist pioneer that came and wrote in Hebrew a few poems that I like very much, and it was this poem especially became a song and became very popular, very popular. And the name of the poem is Hanes Shel Halev Ha'amitz, the miracle of the brave heart.
Wow.
And I will read just only one part of it. Let's read the English first.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll do the English, and you'll do the Hebrew. We're going to go into our natural languages, our native languages. We are carrying torches. In the dark night, the paths shine beneath our feet, and whoever has a heart that thirsts for light lifts his eyes and his heart to us and come along. No miracle happened for us. No cruse of oil did we find. We walked through the valley, ascended the mountain. We discovered well springs of hidden light. We quarried in the stone until we bled. Let there be light.
אנו נושאים לפידים בלילות אפלים, זורחים השבילים מתחת רגלינו. ומי אשר לב לו הצמא לאור, יישא את עיניו ויבוא אלינו לאור. ויבוא. That's resonance, the call of Judea, Yehuda HaMaccabee.
Judah HaMaccabee. Right.
That called everybody to come to and follow him to clear and rededicate the temple in Jerusalem. So here there is no temple.
Right.
There is light and there is strength and there is spiritual strength even, but it's within each one of us.
Wow.
But we need to listen to it. Otherwise nothing will happen. And we need to do something, to act with that notion. That's how miracles have been creates in this world.
That's amazing. And so this is where a lot of the similarities. And I'd like, but it says lo nes. What does it say there? Lo.
Nes lo kara lanu,
That's
kach
a-
shemen lo matzanu.
So let me. So
Yes,
that's
please.
right. So with on the dreidel we do nes gadol haya sham or nes gada haya po, which means the great miracle happened there. Meaning if you're in America or if you get an Israeli dreidel, it says nes gadol haya po. It happened here. But it's interesting that an Israeli poet makes it clear that miracle didn't happen. We say that all the time, and people say to me, "Bob, you're destroying the holiday." But the reality is, there's a strength in that, and there's a reality in that. And Israeli and Jews, secular Jews, and American Jews like us have a much stronger connection that we realize. And I think there's a comfort level in Israel to give voice to this kind of Judaism. We're sometimes considered outsiders in the organized Jewish world for talking like this. But Israelis were doing this very early when they're in this founding of the state.
Actually, they couldn't write it in a different words because to believe so much in a change. In change in the world against all odds, against the tradition, against their parents.
Right.
So the strength came from the belief that they can change the world and they can change the people and they can change the nation.
Right. So he wrote this probably, Ev wrote this in, so he was born in 1900.
Exactly.
So he was probably writing early. So that's your contemporary, like your grandfather.
Yes, they actually grew together in the same.
Did they?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know
Yes.
that.
they grew together in Poland in the same city that's called Kowel.
Yeah.
And they knew each other. And when I first read as a kid, as a kid, I read this poem. I was fascinated to know. Oh, my grandfather knows such a famous poet. These days, nobody know about him in Israel, but his song still live in the kindergartens.
And so this is a kindergarten song? It's so sophisticated. I mean, 'cause
yes,
I think
it is.
So that's what's so fascinating, because oftentimes American Jewry, we feed our children the legend as if it's truth. But in Israel, they're teaching the legend as a legend. They're saying it didn't happen. And they're putting it into the game. And this, I think, this is something that I really love, that I think the Israelis are doing so much better than we are. They're being honest about Judaism and how it evolved in the history.
I don't know how to compare, but what I think what interesting in this poem is the punchline, the end of it, when it says,
Which we recorded in the
"We poured in the stone until we bleed. Let there be light." So there are different ways to bring light to the world.
Right.
One way is to say we are doing the mitzvah of lighting the candles of Hanukkah. The other way is to go and work, and with the stones, like the caveman, with stones to create the spark that will change the world.
Right.
So with that notion, they like the Maccabim. Why they like the Maccabim? And
Those are the Maccabees. We call them
the Maccabees. The Maccabees were actually priests.
Right.
A family of priests from outside Jerusalem that decided to take the leadership.
Right. And they took it. They shouldn't have done that. I mean, they weren't part of the lineage at the time.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
So
they took the advantage.
Yeah. They were.
But actually, nobody cared about the historical facts.
Right.
Like, no,
Yeah.
really, not the secular tradition or the religious tradition of any stream.
Right.
The actual story, the historical story, is not really important. What's important is who made the miracle, and what its value.
Right.
So the Talmud didn't want us to know the story at all.
Right.
Why? Because the Talmud was written by sages that didn't like the priests.
Right.
So they didn't want it. Okay, the secular Zionists didn't like the priests, but they liked the fact that they were warriors.
Right.
And we want to create new warriors for Jewish people in Israel. So that worked very well.
Right.
So some of the blessings and the songs are talking about that. That they took the sword and they fought for the independent state of the Jewish people.
Wow.
So and erased the idea that they wanted to clean the temple and to take over Judaism at the time.
So this is so fast. I mean, to me, this is. We can go on for hours, but we're not going to. It's just that what's so exciting is we can see in this conversation again how Judaism continues to evolve, how there has been strong streams of humanistic thinking within Judaism, and certainly in Zionism, we have Zionist thought was about taking destiny into their own hands. That was part of one of Ben Gurion's lines. It's time for us to take our destiny into our own hands, and I think oftentimes as American Jews, we're not as aware of that. And to hear that and to see how Hanukkah has played out. So the last real quick question. So celebrating Hanukkah for you in America is different than celebrating it?
Oh, it's totally different. We are preparing packages and wrapping gifts for each different night of Hanukkah. I didn't know that before I came here because we used to get few chocolate coins.
Yeah, gelt.
Yeah. From my grandparents, and that's it. Actually, it was fun to light the candles, and we fought over that, and that's it.
But now,
decorations and special wrappings. What is about special wrappings? We can wrap in any color we want. What? No, Hanukkah wrappings and gifts for each
night.
night.
You're doing new gifts. Wow.
Oh yes, my wife is really happy about that, and the kids happy too.
The kids happy
so
too.
we like to be happy about Hanukkah and to be Jewish. By the way, I was thinking about the miracles of Christmas. There is a miracle in Christmas, right?
Right.
Santa Claus appears
in every house.
Appears in every house. I'm not sure, but in every mall at least.
Yeah, every mall.
And
he's sort of it's like he's sort of our version of Elijah.
He is.
Elijah the prophet who appears at Passover, but we're not going to talk about Passover today.
I think Santa is have more weight.
So this is so great. So this is wonderful. We're gonna continue this. This was so interesting. So as you look at and think about Hanukkah, think about how you experience it. Think about different ways people have experienced it. Look at the poem. It's called in English, it's called We Are Carrying Torches. If you want to look it up online, we found that was where we got the English translation from. Fascinating poem. Speaks to a different way to look at. Right. I'm going to talk about this at our services tonight as well.
I want to mention one new thing that's going on in Israel, which maybe it's some kind of influence from the gifts of Hanukkah. There are few experiments to give new blessings for each candle, to give characters to each candle. Let's light the candles of miracles. Let's the candles of magic.
So that's interesting. So before tonight, I'll give you our Hanukkah lighting. That's exactly what we did.
Okay, so maybe it came from here.
Possibly. The idea is that rather than just reading the same blessings over and over again, let's talk about different aspects of Hanukkah every night.
So do you have it online for the audience?
Do we have it online? We will. We'll do something. You can watch some candlelight. You put me on the spot. I have to look. I'm not sure, but you can purchase it. That I know you can. We have our home services includes the home Hanukkah service. That's online. You can purchase that. Go to our shop go to ourjewishcommunity.org and you can shop there. So we're going to pause now for our conversation. This obviously could keep on going. This is so much fun. I'm just enjoying myself so much. We're going to continue now and transition to sort of a more somber part because this is the first Friday night, first Shabbat of the month, and it's typical, if we can, to do our memorials the first Friday night of the month. So we're going to read our memorial reading and then include names and think about those who have died. The cycle of life unfolds. Just as we rejoice in new life, we mourn its final ending, the inevitable death of those whose lives have touched ours. Tonight, we join voices with others as we say aloud the words which help us recall those we've lost. We remember the moments we've shared, the laughter and the tears, the beauty and the pain. Inevitably, as our lives intertwine, as we have touched one another, we've been influenced, changed, enriched by their presence. And so, as we mourn their loss, we celebrate their life. Thus, the cycle continues, their lives forever marking the continued unfolding of our own. Tonight, we recall those, the anniversary of whose death, who were sent to us. Many, perhaps, or some of these came in the month of December. Others are people we hold in our hearts. Casey Beach, Peter Costello, Robert Van Meter, Linda Foster, Seymour Resnikoff, George Moskowitz. We think, too, of those who've died as a result of violence that has marred our nation. California, we think of those who were just murdered in San Bernardino, others that have died and as a result of violence throughout our country, those who've died in Paris. We have in our nation and our world those who have died as a result of violence and terrorism. We think of them this night. We think of those who died defending the principles of justice and peace. The officer who helped to protect the Planned Parenthood office in Colorado Springs, but those around the world who've defended the principles of justice and freedom and have lost their lives, making sure the world is a better, safer place. We think of all our loved ones who no longer walk among us. So we pause at this time to reflect upon them. This moment of remembrance links life to life and generation to generation.
אין בידי המוות הכוח לעקור מה שטמון בלב.
Death cannot take that which is locked in our hearts. With our tears and our sorrow, we remember. With our courage and our strength, we do not forget. Acts of kindness, deeds of courage will remain. Beauty created, wisdom shared is not lost. With our tears and our sorrow, we remember.
עם דמעות בעינינו, בעת אבלנו, נשמור על זכר אהובנו.
With our tears in our sorrow, we remember.
זכר צדיק לברכה.
May the memory of good people bless our days. Let the Sabbath be a time for believing in what could be and seeing with new eyes. In this serious world, let us take ourselves less seriously. In these harsh times, let us listen for a soothing word. While the world around us unfolds in an instant, let us judge each other a little more slowly. Let the Sabbath shine a light into a corner of ourselves where hope is renewed. Let us remember a way to be joyful and a way to be gentle. Let the Sabbath be a time for opening up. Let us try and find strength in our dreams and trust in our strength. And we're going to continue with our challah and our wine. So we have sliced challah, which means those of you who've joined us before knows that means we have, and I'm sure somebody's commenting about challah right now. You seem to like to talk. It smells good too. I just took it out of the bag. It's very fresh. Smells good. So we have bricks and mortar services here in Loveland, Ohio. So if you're in Loveland, Ohio, come join us tonight. We continue in Jewish tradition. We share the challah to celebrate the Shabbat. We are reminded that challah, a twisted loaf of bread, sustains and nurtures the life of our bodies. May the sharing of this challah sustain and nurture our hunger for knowledge and understanding of the world around us. May the sharing of the challah sustain and nurture our connection to those close by and those separated by distance and by time. May the sharing of the challah encourage us to reach out to those across the rooms, across the halls, across our desks, across the miles. May sharing the challah strengthen and enrich our coming week.
Baruch.
Oh, it's in English transliteration. It would be easier to write it out.
Yeah, I read English Hebrew.
It's Baruch Amal.
Baruch Amal Kapeinu.
Blessed is the work of our hands.
Baruch Chazon Ha'adam.
Blessed is the vision of our minds.
Baruch Lechem Haaretz.
Blessed is the bread of the earth. It must be much harder for you to read Hebrew and English transliteration.
It's getting better.
So you did good. It's hard. I mean, you look.
I just need to switch the language in
your head. It's very it's printed in some of this for these large prints. We did them without the Hebrew, but it's printed in the booklet in Hebrew.
I'm getting used when my kids are talking to me. First, I need to identify which language they're talking, and then I understand them.
Yeah. If you have some wine or juice, on Shabbat it's custom to share wine or juice with family and friends and community. The juice or wine reminds us that it's not enough for us to quench our physical thirst. We must nourish our spirit as well. As we celebrate Shabbat, may this wine remind us to live our lives to the fullest and embrace the joys and pleasures that life offers.
ברוכים החיים בעולם.
Blessed is the life within the world.
ברוכים החיים באדם.
Blessed is the life within each person. And so we say l'chaim,
לחיים.
to life. A couple quick announcements. Next week is, Hanukkah starts December 6th. So a couple things. That's Sunday night, this coming Sunday. If you've not checked out our video, go to Cincinnati OJC and watch our Hanukkah video. Watch at least a minute 2. It's only a couple seconds longer than that. There's a surprise at minute 2. You'll enjoy it. It's also on our Facebook page, our Facebook, our Jewish community. You can go there, share it, like it. It's gotten passed around. It's really making a hit. You can also get our reimagining Hanukkah. Last week, I talked about this a bit on our Friday night service. It's a downloadable PDF. There's activities. We were looking at it before, both for adults and kids. It's really designed for parents to use with kids, but there's a lot of things that just if you're adults, you could do and talk about. There's some great starters. It talks about also the Hanukkah Christmas aspects and how people can talk about those in a useful way. Take a look at that. Next week, so those things are there. You can go to our Zazzle. And if you want to order Hanukkah Christmas cards or Hanukkah cards, you can still go to Zazzle, our Jewish community.
Or the holiday packet.
Or the
candle lighting blessings.
And the holiday, oh, you're good. You're in sales. And remember, if you're shopping right now, go to ourjewishme.org and click on the Amazon link and then go to Amazon. Because if you do it that way, we don't know what you bought, but it actually gives us a little bit of money. It's a fundraiser. That would be great. Actually, at this time of year, it's the holidays and December, and it's time that people make donations. If you're able to make a donation to ourjewishcommunity.org, please, we'd love for you to do that. If you can support us in any way you can, every gift makes a difference. You can do it on Click and Pledge. You can go to our page. There's a donate page. You can mail in a check if you're like paper checks. Support us any way you can. Share what we're doing, like what we're doing. Next week, I will be back here together because it's going to be Hanukkah next week, so we'll do a Shabbat candle lighting and a Hanukkah candle lighting. Go to our Facebook page, go to our website. We got lots going on. It's a very exciting, very dynamic here. I am glad you're here, Ofer.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. We have so much fun. So we're going to end with our closing words. May we know blessings those who are near, and may we know blessings those who are far. And may the Sabbath bring its goodness to everyone soon, wherever they are. Shabbat Shalom.